So did you guys know that when you rub your like penis, like sometimes milk comes out? Did you guys know that?
Yeah, you think I don't know about penis milk? I know, I know all about that.
Like 99% of the people I talk to don't know about penis milk. So
I didn't want to talk about this again.
Do people know they can make penis milk? This is my bit, by the way. This is my bit originally.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I'm Harrison.
Dracula.
I'm Harrison.
That's what this podcast is.
That's Harrison.
I'm Harrison.
And we are the 5 stages
yourself.
of grief. I'm August. And those are the two hosts of the show.
Okay.
I'm Sophiá. Hi.
I'm Merio.
Yes!
And last week, Dracula was dead and loving it. But this week, we're saying yes Feratu to Nosferatu.
Yes, Feratu.
You can't just steal all his bits.
No, I said it at the same time. It's okay. I wrote all those bits.
Some copyright dispute going on in the podcast right now.
That's weird because I said them. So
yeah, but it's okay because I wasn't the one who called you out, and so the people will know. So last week we said, Dracula, you look mighty fine dead, and this week we are saying, hello 1922.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, Nosferatu, 1922 called. They want I don't know.
They want their blood back.
They want to touch. Silent movie. So I was watching Nosferatu last night in the sitting room of my house that I share with a few friends, and I got a text from my friend Mary, who lives above the living room. Her room is right above the living room, and she said, "Can the organ music go a bit quieter, please? Even though it is lovely."
Music was beautiful. You had to focus on stuff like that.
Do you guys watch? I assume you watched it on YouTube. Did you watch the one with the orchestra music or the organ music? I know August watched organ music because he just said so.
We didn't explain what this podcast is.
It's
DracuQuest. We watch every Dracula movie until either we run out of Dracula movies or we die. If we run out of Dracula movies, we move on to Frankenstein.
What? Oh shit!
Okay.
I don't have the same passion for Frankenstein.
Well, then just keep making Dracula movies.
Penis-stein. Okay, keep going.
Hopefully you listened to episode 1. So, this is DracuQuest. We listen to every we watch.
There is an overarching story of the
I guess we listen to them too, but we watch every Dracula movie. And we talk about it. Last week we talked about Dracula Dead and loving it. This week we're saying about
yes Feratu to
Nosferatu. Nosferatu, the classic 1922 movie directed by F.W. Murnau.
That stands for fuck with Murnau.
That stands for fuck with Murnau.
True?
Yeah, that's true.
Holy shit.
I was laughing at Penis Stein for way too long. I'm just going to admit it.
When was Penis Stein a thing?
You didn't hear Penis Stein?
Maybe 60 seconds ago.
I didn't hear that at all.
So, we don't have to spend 20 minutes summarizing the show this time. We did it last episode.
Dracula.
Yeah, to be well acquainted by now.
But yeah, so do you want to do first thoughts on Nosferatu? What everyone thought about Nosferatu?
Yeah, I made about 5 notes in the first 5 minutes, and then I stopped making notes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's awesome.
I didn't take any notes because I've seen this movie. This is like my 4th or 5th time watching this movie. I guess I'll go first. This is my 4th or 5th time watching this movie, and I've loved it every previous time, but I think this time I was like, I reached my like maximum of times a person can watch Nosferatu before it starts to become boring. So I was
before you have to start saying Nosferatu.
Yeah.
So I was kind of struggling this watch. I was like, I know what happens. This is really boring. But it's still a good movie. I liked it. I decided to watch a colorized version since I've seen it so many times.
Weird.
I was like, I'll play around with it. So I watched a colorized version. I don't think it's quite as good as the version that's like only blue and orange. I think there's something kind of like dreamlike and mesmerizing about like
it was very orange.
Colors.
I noticed how orange it was.
Orange means daytime and blue means nighttime in silent film speak.
Oh.
Or no, orange means light and blue means dark.
Yeah.
In silent
I didn't
films.
watch that. I watched like an HD version that was really high quality. That like orange and blue one sounds really interesting. Actually, I'll probably check that out. That sounds.
You watched 4K Nosferatu?
I did.
So was the version you watched just black and white then?
Yes, I watched the black and white version.
That's cool too. I think the black and white is good too because it is an expressionist film, so you get all that like light and shadow. You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
But I watched the colorized version. I don't think it was quite as interesting with color because I think the images weren't quite as striking. And that might be another reason that I found it kind of boring. So yeah, I didn't take too many notes this time. I still liked it, but I thought it was kind of boring. Normally, I like it more.
So my first note that I took was, "Do not hurry, my young friend. No one can escape his destiny." Which I think is a really cool line, and is really
it's
funny.
It's like a really funny line too, because
you're a young lawyer walking down the street, and an older man with a mustache comes up to you and goes, "Do not hurry, my young friend. No one can escape his destiny," and then walks off.
Just this random dude comes up to him and says that,
and he never appears again.
He never appears again.
That was my counter for this movie.
Oh
my
boy,
God.
here we go.
was how many potato croquettes I ate and how many Earl Grey teas I drank.
Okay.
I drank 1 Earl Grey tea and I ate 4 potato croquette raclette.
Jesus Christ!
That's really the gauge for like a good film. Like, if you only have 1 Earl Grey tea.
How did you feel about the film, August? Did you like it?
I quite liked it. Yes, I thought it was pretty cool. I've seen I don't think I ever finished it, but I've seen most of Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and I
love Cabinet of Dr.
Funnily
Caligari.
enough, I'm studying and putting together a show on Expressionist theater right now. Expressionist theater show, right?
Really?
Literally, that's what I'm doing this term. So I've been going in and doing wacky shit with cool images the last few weeks, smashing my body against the floor.
This movie is definitely not as expressionist as Cabinet of Caligari.
No, it doesn't have the sort of bizarre room shapes and stuff. But I really like the shot of him when he first gets into the castle. The doors open, doors close, and you see Orlok, not Orlok. He's under a sort of tunnely bridge situation behind him. There's a very, very cool thing there.
The castle is super cool. The images in the castle are so striking. It just looks really cool.
Very, very Nosferatu from me. I have more, but I'll talk about it when we go through them.
2 thumbs up for Ratu.
Yes.
Someone take the reins for Ratu.
I watched it with my friend Vic. We watched it together.
Oh, I know Vic.
Yeah, you do know Vic.
I know him too.
Yeah, I watched it with him in a probably not the best place to watch it. It was very loud, but we did watch it. I wanted to rewatch it, but I never got around to it. But still, I enjoyed it a lot. It was my first silent film ever. I'm not a film geek like everyone else in this horror podcast. So I don't watch movies. But still, this was my first silent film, and no, I fucking loved it. It was super cool. I enjoyed. I think my favorite part. I like, I don't know what I was expecting, because this was my first silent film, and I know I wasn't expecting anything crazy, but I fucking love. Can I call him Nosferatu? Because you guys are calling him different names, like Orlok.
You can call him Orlok or Nosferatu or Dracula.
He's not Dracula.
Yes,
he is Dracula. He is Dracula. Or Dracula was renamed Orlok for the movie, but he is Dracula.
Okay, I see. No, yeah, I fucking was mesmerized every time Nosferatu was on screen because he looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, scary guy.
He does.
He's so cool.
The prosthetics are really cool. The Junos is a little sus.
Juno. Yeah, his eyebrows were really fucking weird. That was the most off-putting. He'd just be like, hello.
He's definitely a bit of an anti-Semitic caricature, just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a tad.
But he is very cool looking. The prosthetics and the makeup are fantastic. Yeah.
I think The scene that struck me the most when I watched it was the scene where the main guy's name is Hutter. Am I right?
Yeah. Hutter. Yes. Normally Harker. In this movie, he's Hutter.
I thought his name was Gutter for the longest time because the font they used to say his name and then where they used narration was really weird.
Gutter.
My favorite scene is when he reads like a book that I think warns him of Nosferatu that says this shit is happening.
Oh, yeah, it's like devils.
Like cartoonish way possible and
puts it away.
Yeah, he throws it onto the ground.
Yeah,
that was fucking hilarious. And it also it shows you the book 3 times.
Yeah. When we get into the movie, we'll have to talk about what an idiot Hutter is because he's just truly stupid.
Yeah, he was probably. Like I said, I love the work on Nosferatu. He looks very good, but Hutter is good. Amazing protecting
the Hutter.
He's a fucking moron.
The fucking Hutter, baby.
I think
the Hutter.
1922 people must have read really, really slowly because boy, do they give you a long time.
Yeah, those the version I watched I think had a different score, so it was timed a little differently. But the word cards, the dialogue cards.
It's 2 sentences and they give you 45 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my opinions on the film. I like Hutter. I like when he throws books at him like a fucking moron. It's funny.
Yeah, I watched this 2 weeks ago. I don't remember too much of it, but I skimmed through it again just a few minutes ago, and I was like, yes. I will say I've watched some other silent films, not a ton, and this wasn't my favorite out of those. It's a good movie, but I don't know. I prefer Caligari, and I watched another FW
I think I do too.
Movie. Yeah. Caligari's it's a lot more stylized, and I think it's even more a little spooky.
Caligari feels like a cursed tape that a character would find in another movie.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
I think it's a lot more visually interesting. Although I do like the Nosferatu himself. And then I did watch another FW Murnau movie called, I think it was Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was better, so I take that as you will. But I like this one a lot. It's a classic Dracula doing classic Dracula things. With his friends, the rats.
The first Dracula movie?
Probably.
This actually wasn't the first Dracula movie. There is a lost Dracula movie. It's called I want to say The Death of Dracula, maybe The Death of Dracula, Bride of Dracula,
what
something
year?
like that. 1920, something like that.
Wow.
And it was lost. The film was lost. So
well. You can't forget, before that, you have the origins of the Dracula films, which is Dracula Dead and Loving It. But
that's true.
That's probably
the one that started it all. But yeah, no. So this is the first Dracula movie that we still have survived today.
Nice.
And I think it's the first Dracula movie that was popular overseas in America. And Merio, what you were talking about, other silent movies, I'll admit the silent film area is a bit of a blind spot for me. I've seen this. I've seen Caligari, and I've seen some of the old Phantomas serials because a professor made us watch them.
Have you seen any like Buster Keaton stuff? I've seen a few of that. I think
I haven't. I've seen some clips of Buster Keaton. I've seen some Eisenstein stuff, and
Eisenstein.
But I've the mad Dr. Eisenstein. Yeah, I've seen some Penisstein stuff. I've seen some Penisstein stuff. But no, this is the only FW Murnau movie I've seen.
Eisenstein looked fucking awesome.
I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. So I haven't seen many silent movies, but I do enjoy this one quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm taking a film history to the 1940s class, which is the only reason I've really dove in. I've really dove in further into silent films.
Should have been, because vampires, dude. Fuck.
Oh.
What?
You should have said sunk your teeth into it.
I sucked into some.
You really sucked off some silent films.
You're gonna suck off some silent films.
I really I really got.
I've really been sucking down the silent films recently.
Really got the penis milk out of these early films.
Yeah, you really milked these films.
Yeah. Yeah. 99% of people don't know you can do that.
So let's get into our synopsis of this movie.
Let's get right into it.
I feel like so with Dracula Dead and Loving It, we did like a straightforward scene by scene by scene because that's a bad movie and there's a lot of things to pick apart. I don't know if we really need to do that with this movie because like there's a lot of scenes where there's just nothing to say about them. It's a good scene, you know. What else are you gonna say? Right?
As a Dracula, it's a good scene.
But I think Merio listed all the scenes, so you know we can go through them and say stuff where we have stuff to say.
I wrote down 30. I don't think we're gonna have much to say about many of them, to be honest.
About 28 of them.
Yeah, like we'll have a good comment here and there, but I mean we got the opening. There's some credits, and actually it does note that it's based on the Dracula book because
it does. Which I wish I knew more about the history of this movie because I assume the reason they changed the names is because they didn't have the rights to the Dracula book, and yet it does say right there in the credits that it's based on Dracula.
Well,
maybe the credits are new. Maybe that's like added credits, you know?
My film professor, is what I was going to say, told me that eventually they had to like put it in anyways because it was like...
Okay, so it wasn't
blatantly obvious it was a ripoff. Yeah. Okay. Like I think they tried getting away with it and it just didn't happen, so...
I remember there were some really funny like minor character names. I'm looking at it now because I remember it was like as the
There's some really funny minor character hairstyles in this movie.
That's also true.
This movie is about men with the biggest, hairiest mutton chops that you've ever seen.
Knock, a real estate agent, which is fucking hilarious.
I love Knock. He's great.
Knock is the Renfield in this movie.
Professor Bulmer, a Paracelsian. What the fuck that word is?
Bulmer. I love Professor. We'll get to Professor Bulmer. Professor Bulmer is funny.
The Great Death. They talk a lot about the Great Death, the Great Dying.
Yeah, we get to the book, and there's this whole book, and do we know who writes this book? Like,
I don't think we do.
A guy,
Bram Stoker.
I think if I had to guess, I would say it's probably the doctor, like the town doctor, who's writing the title cards. But I'm not sure. I don't know. But yes, there is some character like, this is a story that happened to my friends. A scary story.
Everyone in my great
and
county
here's also
died.
this plant guy.
Yeah.
One thing we should say that's significant about this movie, really quick, a bit of film history for you, is the expressionist movement was really that's what this movie falls under, if you don't know. Really the first time that you ever had supernatural movies where at the end it wasn't like, and this guy was wearing a mask the whole time. Like, you didn't do that in movies. You didn't have a real monster because that was simply too scary and too outlandish. And I think this is one of the first movies that ever did that. Even Cabinet of Caligari has like a rational explanation at the end. But in this movie you get a real monster, and that's like a film history first.
Holy shit.
You get real monsters.
They got a real
real monsters.
Oh.
Yeah, there's also this weird stylistic thing they do where like no one talks. They just kind of have like a title card that appears after. I don't know why they chose to do that.
That's a weird stylistic choice, you know?
Yeah.
Where's all the sound, you know?
I do think it's funny.
We should point that out.
Did you notice mouths moving? Because I feel like they just looked at each other.
No, the mouths move sometimes.
Yeah, a little.
Especially in the Orlok Hutter scenes, it was like, I will look at you, and then the words they will appear.
Yeah, maybe they're like mind reading.
There was a lot of...
That's Dracula's secret power.
And that's a very important thing to talk about, is there was a lot of fourth wall break and like winks to the audience in this movie. It was kind of crazy.
They said, that's just Dracula. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
He sucks blood. Yeah, he sucks blood.
Yeah, he sucks blood.
He says, I might be in a bit of trouble.
Uh-oh. Can I go through my second and third note here?
Yeah.
Although, actually, no. I'll keep recapping because we're not quite to this part yet.
Oh, okay. So Hutter comes in and gives his wife some flowers that he picked out from the garden. Yeah, and she's just like, "Oh my god, you fucking killed them!" And then we move on.
yeah. Well, so we got to introduce this character properly. There's Hutter, who is a real estate agent, and there's his wife.
Is he a real estate agent? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he's a real estate agent, and then there's his wife, who is Ellen. Ellen is based on Mina Harker from the book, and she is very melodramatic and very mopey, and she wanders around all day looking sad. And when you give her flowers, she says, "You fucking moron! Why did you kill the flowers?"
Yeah.
To be fair, Hutter is a dickhead. Like
Hutter is a moron. Hutter is an idiot. So what happens next, Merio?
Merio.
Okay. Y'all are being almost as scary as Nosferatu himself.
As Count Orlok, him Nosferatu.
Yeesh. Yeah.
They call him the Grabber.
We cut to Nock, who's reading this little ancient letter, and Nock is just a freak. He's the real estate owner guy.
He's the boss. He's the big real estate agent that Hutter works for.
He's got this big curly hair. He's just a freak. Like, he really is.
He looks like Frank Reynolds if you like stretched him out like Stretch Armstrong.
Oh my god.
I don't know who that is.
That's who Danny DeVito plays on Always Sunny.
But
I'll send a GIF of him.
All right. Waiting for this to load in. All right. All right. Still waiting. All right. I need this. There
he is.
Yeah. All right. So for the audience, this is Danny
DeVito and Always Sunny.
In this GIF, let me see. Oh, he's coming out from a black curtain. He's fully naked.
He's coming out of a couch. He's being birthed out of a couch, and he's fully naked.
Mm-hmm. What is the context of that?
He's oiled up. Don't forget that part.
I mean, we don't have to stop to talk about the context of this Always Sunny episode.
I kind of want to know.
Okay, so it's the Christmas episode, and they try to have Frank get visited by the ghost of Christmas Present or whatever, and they take him to his like the Christmas party at his former company that he used to work at, and they stuff him inside a couch, and they want people to talk about how much Frank sucks while he's in this couch, but nobody knows who the fuck Frank is. So they're like, "Hey, doesn't Frank suck?" And everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" And then Frank gets so hot he has to dig his way out of the couch because he's burning up on the inside.
And that is the plot of Nosferatu.
Well,
okay, I'm gonna shit myself. Can we keep going?
Okay. Yeah.
Two unrelated statements.
And so, Knox, like to Hutter, he's like, "Hey, we got this guy who's looking for a house. He lives up in Transylvania. Can you go and meet him and get him to buy this house?"
Oh, isn't it like let's scam the shit out of him? He wants a house, but let's give him the shittiest one.
It's a really shitty house across Hutter's own.
Yeah, he's like, let's give him this shitty, broken, abandoned house across your.
Just to fuck with
it's like he said he'll pay anything for a house. Let's fuck him over hardcore.
Yeah. Although Nock, we later find out, is a servant of Nosferatu. So he's like playing the double game here. Really, he's fucking over Hutter.
Okay, now I can do my note. So my first note was the hurry, my young friend. My second note is Romania is, quote, the country of ghosts. And then my third note is now it's the country of thieves and ghosts.
Yeah, they say that it's the country of thieves and ghosts.
He goes, Ellen, I'm going to the country of thieves and ghosts. I won't be back a while.
Yeah, and then Ellen gets super sad that he's leaving to visit Nosferatu.
She sort of swoons upon the stairs.
She like has hysteria, so he hands her over to his wealthy ship owner friend and has her stay with him. And then he goes to Transylvania, and we get the walrus guy from Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh, I had a note about walrus guy.
Yeah, what's your note about walrus guy?
Maybe I lie. Oh, wait a second. Sorry. I have more notes. I noticed Hutter's ass as he was packing.
Oh yeah, the guy's got a nice ass.
And then I have I don't know what this was about, but I said this is just like what we do in the shadows. And then I have
Yeah.
I have
And you don't know what
Walrus
that's about.
Man.
Pretty much.
Hey, August, if you don't know what the note's about, you don't have to read it.
No,
Like,
I only have 2 more. This
it's
is
not that important.
Walrus Man, comma, organ player going ham. And then my last one, which is the actual note about the Walrus Man, is werewolf, all caps, question mark?
No,
Oh, yeah.
no.
Don't.
Not yet, not yet.
We haven't gotten to the werewolf yet.
Okay, sorry. Cut that part. And then
Okay.
the other note we'll
I
talk
love
about
the
in a
werewolf.
second.
The werewolf is fantastic, but we'll get to
I
it.
love
So,
him so much.
Hutter goes to Transylvania. He goes to. Important note: in this version, they're not in London; they're in Germany. So instead of taking a ship and a train to Transylvania, he rides a horse to Romania, and he goes to Transylvania, and he stays. He stays at an inn. He stays at an inn with a guy with a big mustache who looks like a walrus, and he's like, "I'm going to Nosferatu's castle." And Walrus's guy is like, "Oh no, you better not do that because there's werewolves out there at night." And
Yeah, I have a note that says werewolf, question mark.
so Hutter goes to bed. He finds a book about Nosferatu and how he sucks blood. And Hutter's like, this is ridiculous. And he throws it on the ground and he goes to bed. And while he's asleep, we cut to outside where we were introduced to several shots of the werewolf running around. And the werewolf's just great. What else is there to say about it? The werewolf is fantastic.
I need to remind myself of this. I'm looking this up right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the werewolf's really one of my favorite characters in fiction.
Because there was no werewolf, was there?
There was a werewolf.
Mario, why
do
don't you
not
describe
remember the werewolf.
why don't you describe the werewolf, Mario?
It's just like a dog, right?
It is just
It's
like
a hyena.
Oh,
It's a hyena. They have shots of a hyena running around in the wilderness.
I didn't even clock that was supposed to be a werewolf. That's why I didn't remember it, because I'm now looking at this now. It's just a fucking like hyena walking through the woods and a horse. There's also
This is just a hyena.
There's like a scene of a hyena spooking a horse. It's
no
it's a
spooking
spooky
like
werewolf.
5 horses.
It's a spooky werewolf.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's
My note was just, whoa, the werewolf. And that's what I wrote for that.
God, it's so scary.
My God, the werewolf! Oh,
Whoa.
And the werewolf never appears again, I believe. That's just it.
You know, it's when you have something good, you can't just milk it for the entire series.
Yeah. Mhm.
So what happens next, Mario?
Well, we got he wakes up, he leaves, and then he goes on this. I forgot. Some people take him up there, and then eventually they're just like, nope.
They're like,
no more.
we cannot cross board, go past. It's too spooky.
They say like it gets. I think they literally say it gets spooky at night. Because I remember
No. They say it is creepy. I think
that's what. Yeah, it is creepy at night. Because I was like, what the fuck.
So Hutter goes and he walks on his own until a carriage comes for him, being driven by a man who looks suspiciously like Nosferatu.
One of like 3 guys who looks suspiciously like Nosferatu.
I think he's my favorite guy. I think he's just my favorite guy.
What? Cab driver Nosferatu?
Yes, cab driver Nosferatu,
because he's got a funny feathered hat on.
Scurry. Like they cut it up so it looks
very
like
fast.
It's like stop motion almost, and it's just twice as fast as the carriage would normally be moving, and it's really great. I love it.
It's very, very funny.
I wish all the Nosferatus moved around like that.
I wish all the Nosferatus did that.
So that was just Nosferatu cosplaying as a cab guy.
Yeah, that's Nosferatu. So Nosferatu doesn't have any servants. He has to pretend to be his servants.
That's pathetic.
So he wears a top hat and then he puts on an extra coat.
He wears not a top hat, a funny feathered cap.
Is it a funny feathered cap? I thought it was like a stovepipe hat.
I did not pick up on that. I thought he shapeshifted or something. Then he just put on a cap and said, "Oh, I serve that great Nosferatu guy. He's so cool."
Yeah, it's literally that.
I wrote that I hoped he was the driver and just had to sprint to get back into the castle. He just hops off and he goes.
I also just thought he had super speed that he could put on himself and also everything he's on. So that's why the horses were super fast.
He
I don't
has
know.
magical door opening powers too, where he can make his big doors open.
God.
So
I
Hutter
love
gets
this
to the
guy.
castle. He meets
Yes, Nosferatu.
Nosferatu out of his carriage driver cosplay, and Nosferatu's like, "Hello, Hutter. I would like to buy this house across from yours, and oh, what a beautiful wife you have!" Because he's a picture of Hutter's wife. There's the scene where Hutter cuts himself, and Nosferatu's like, blood, because they always do that. It's a great scene. It's a very creepy scene, but I don't know if I have a ton to say about it.
I like the scene where Hunter cuts himself because he did it while like putting butter on bread somehow.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking to Nosferatu while doing it, and he was so enthralled in the conversation that he just kept the knife going through his finger. It was fucking awesome.
Let's take a quick break now to talk about what a fucking moron Hutter is.
Yes!
So Hutter is completely stupid. He is completely inept at like hearing his wife's concerns. Like his wife is clearly like kind of going insane, and Hutter just like laughs at her. And he reads a book about Nosferatu, and then he still does it anyway. He reads a book about how Nosferatu sucks blood, and then later when he gets his blood sucked, he's like, "Oh wow, 2 mosquitoes bit me on my neck, quite close together." After you literally read a book about it, Hutter, you fucking moron.
He's like writing a letter, and he's like, "The mosquitoes are really a pest here."
The absolute stupidest thing he does, and I'm skipping ahead a little bit here, but he knows that Nosferatu is a vampire now because he sees Nosferatu come out of the coffin. This happens later, we'll get to it. And he has to fight his way out of the castle and like ride back home after recovering. And after he gets back home, he knows that Nosferatu is living in the house across from his house and killing people, and he just doesn't do anything about it.
I mean, I wouldn't. Would you?
I guess I'd be too scared. Yeah.
Nosferatu is a scary dude.
You'd be too scared of being Nosferatu'd.
Hutter's wife is like, "Oh, I see visions of a horrible man," and Hutter's like, "Well, what am I gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do? Like, you know where the vampire is.
Give me a break here."
I see visions of a horrible man.
One of the stupidest protagonists of all time. I love him. I love that man. But back to where we were.
Yeah. So they have dinner. Hutter wakes up after he sleeps. Hutter fell asleep, just say no. And then he woke up.
After, like, so he got really scared, right? Like,
before he fell asleep, he went to the bedroom. He opened the door, and then he went to the bed. And he got in the bed, and he fell asleep.
I jumped ahead a little bit. I'm sorry.
And then he woke up, and then he got out of bed. And before he got out of bed, he opened his eyes, and then he started like he came out of REM sleep.
And he took off the covers.
He took off the covers, and then he got out of bed. Well, before he got out of bed, he sit up. And after he sat up, he turned around.
He sit up, but before he sit up, he look around. He say, "I Hutter."
He
says, "I shudder to think what's going to happen to Hutter."
He said, "Me Hutter."
And then he winked at the camera.
I know.
But before that, he opened his eyes.
He say, "Oh, me Hutter, me have big penis," and then he sort of waggles it around.
And then he starts jacking off.
He starts jacking off, and then he takes out a big spit and starts roasting a whole mammoth on it.
And then he says, "Spit on your hand and stroke my cock at a medium pace."
Where's this coming from?
What is that?
That's an Adam Sandler song.
Nosferatu was the first. A lot of that was our first.
I'm gonna go as Nosferatu for Halloween. How hard do you think this is? Did I do that?
I mean, you're Jewish, right? So I feel like you can do it.
That's true. No, but okay, I just mean logistically. I wasn't even thinking about the horrible prejudices that I'll receive as a Nosferatu. But how difficult would it be to bald cap, powder? I guess like, wait, is Nosferatu playing near me? Oh, it is.
You gotta go see him, man.
Okay, so anyway,
why does he play? After all that happened, Hutter was like, wait, this is all wrong. And then the timeline resets. And so he wakes up and he goes outside and he's like, "Oh, I must have gotten bit on my neck." And then he writes a note to his wife about the bugs and shit, and he gives it to a messenger, and the messenger goes and delivers it to his wife. And then he goes back inside the castle, and Nosferatu buys the house.
Hutter,
keep going.
Hutter starts to figure out that something's suspicious, so he starts to explore the castle. He discovers that Nosferatu's a vampire, but by then it's too late. Nosferatu leaves, and he locks. Oh my god, my dog is barking.
Oh my god.
Hutter gets locked. Oh my god.
Oh my god, is your dog literally barking right now?
Yeah. Nosferatu locks Hutter in the castle and leaves. He gets on a ship. Meanwhile, Hutter escapes. And so the next part is kind of like a cross cut between Nosferatu's journey to Germany and Hutter's journey.
You're going to go through the whole movie. Holy shit. I just wanted to go back a little bit to when Nosferatu is loading all his coffins onto the carriage, and it's super fast stop motion again, and I think that's a really great scene, and I also really liked when.
Do you think that's a great scene?
Yes, I do. When Hutter discovers Nosferatu in the coffin downstairs, and his face is just peeking through like hi. And I thought that was really good too.
There is a classic shot there where he's reading the book and he's like spooked, and he opens the door and he sees Nosferatu like rising up, about to come towards him. That's like the classic scene.
Yeah, he comes through the door. Oh yeah, and the Hutter's wife is controlled like through Hutter or something, like because Nosferatu is standing.
So Nosferatu is like using his psychic powers to like connect to Ellen, and through that Ellen knows that something's happening to Hutter, so she has like a psychotic break.
Let's do the Yesferatu lightning round. Okay, ready? You ready for this?
What is the lightning round? What does this mean?
Horses.
What?
What?
Which one? Yesferatu or Nosferatu?
To horses as a concept?
Oh god.
Which one?
Yes, Ferrati to the horses.
Okay.
You know what? Fuck it. Nosferatu to the horses.
You motherfucker!
Oh. Okay. What about this gender-neutral adult costumes item by Studio DFX Inc.?
What are
this
we
Nosferatu
doing
mask?
This episode?
I've got to say that's Nosferatu. This podcast is falling apart.
No, it's not. We're just talking about Nosferatu. Okay. I don't have any more notes. But I'm gonna look up like Nosferatu and GIFs and talk about that. Oh yeah, that the shadow thing is pretty cool.
That's very true. There's a few shadow things that happen. But
okay. Here is Klaus Kinski as Nosferatu in the 70s one, which we will also watch, directed by Werner Herzog.
You can't just say it, and we can't show it to people. This is a podcast.
I'm looking at a moving picture, and they are also looking at it.
Harrison told us to continue.
Okay, continue, Merio.
Oh god.
Oh my god. I don't even know where to continue from. I was just gonna say that like Ellen walks on the balcony a little and it's pretty spooky, and then they put her back in bed, and then she goes like no, and then she goes back to bed.
She says no, Nosferatu.
And then so we cut between Nosferatu on the ship going to Germany, and Hutter escaped from the castle, and Hutter's going on his horsey, which again has been mixed reviews. And so he goes, and then I think we also cut to Knock. Okay, wait, I lost track. Okay.
No.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm lost.
Oh my god, gets found.
Before all this, we get to Professor Bulmer, who's explaining Venus flytraps.
Did you guys just get to Professor Bulmer? This is my favorite character.
Yes.
So
Harrison, the podcast fell apart a little.
No, it was totally fine.
We're just, we're going to need a cleanup.
We did
on the editing.
No, Harrison, we just did a quick Yesferatu lightning round. Okay, it was fine.
You guys just can't do anything without me, is what I.
No, it was great.
Well,
Anyway, I'm gonna go drop a bomb. You guys keep talking.
Oh, August. Does that mean you have to go poop or?
I say he does have to go poop, and they had time, but they didn't go poop.
You guys keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking too.
Are we talking about Dr. Bulmer now?
Yes.
So
yeah,
Dr. Bulmer
around.
shows Dr. Bulmer. So it says so whoever's like writing the title card says, and in the middle of all the action happening says, "Oh, by the way, I should talk about Dr. Bulmer." And then there's Dr. Bulmer, and he teaches us about Venus flytraps and how they eat bugs, and then he teaches us about polyps and how they use their tentacles to eat like microorganisms like a phantom, he says.
And it's a very clever allegory for Nosferatu.
And then Dr. Bulmer is never in the movie again.
Oh.
It's so good.
Oh, well, he's intercut a little later, and like there's other bugs and spiders as Nock is in the prison. But yeah, that's he never appears again.
He has nothing to do with the story. Absolutely nothing. He gives us a little lecture on Venus flytraps and polyps, and then he leaves, and we're done with good Dr. Bulmer, the good doctor.
And then he says yes, Feratu.
And then he says yes, Feratu.
He says yes, Feratu.
Yes, Feratu.
Okay.
What else happens?
Okay. I think I got my scenes all sorted together.
You're not terrified and lost now.
Yeah, it's Harrison's kind of the flashlight in this podcast.
Harrison is the blood and the vampire thing.
Sort of the flashlight in the podcast.
Yeah.
Harrison's kind of the smegma of the podcast.
Oh my god!
Stop. This is the worst. This is just the worst podcast. That's
sorry. I got my mind's still on Penis Stein.
This episode is fucked up.
Do you guys how do you guys feel about the Israeli occupation of Penis Stein?
I'm sorry, my head's not quite in the right place. The Prime Minister resigned today.
That's true. We're recording this hot on the news of
Elizabeth Truss's resignation.
Can we post this episode?
Yeah.
It's fine.
We're gonna get in trouble with the
I'm having a lot of fun. I think
if it's interesting enough, they'll replay it and you'll keep living. So that's a plus.
Oh god, right. My life.
So let's go lightning quick through the rest of the movie. What happens after Dr. Bulmer? I don't remember like where that is in the movie. So it's cross-cut between Hutter's journey home and Nosferatu's journey. Let's talk about Nosferatu's journey really quick. He gets on a ship and he drains everyone of blood. There's a it's almost sort of anthological in that you get this little bit, like this little side story about the people on the ship and how Nosferatu picks them off one by one. There's a scene where you have this guy who's like, they think it's the plague, and there's this guy who's sick downstairs, and he's like, "Oh no, something spooky is in the corner." And then Nosferatu rises out of his coffin, and is very spooky. And he ends up sucking everyone, including the captain, who has to tie himself.
Everyone, sorry?
Yeah, he sucks off everyone, including the captain, who ties himself to the steering wheel of the ship. That's what it's called.
There's a really hard line too. It says the death ship had a new captain, and I was like, holy fuck.
Oh yeah, after he sucks everyone, there's this line that says the death ship had a new captain, and that's pretty cool.
I think it's actually pronounced the death ship had a new captain.
One thing that we see during the scene is Nosferatu's association with rats and the plague, which is one thing I really like about like this sort of Nosferatu over the conventional Dracula. That this Nosferatu is apocalyptic. He brings with him the plague, and he brings with him disease and rats. And it's not just that he sucks blood; it's that where he goes, everyone dies. And I think that's a very cool take on the character.
He doesn't just suck blood; he sucks.
I never
he really sucks.
The millions of mice that came out of his coffin. I just thought that was like a little quirky head. No, I love the idea that he's just a force of negativity.
It's just rats instead of bats. That's basically how they thought of that. But
shit, maybe
it is still good.
It's the plague. He brings the plague with him wherever he goes.
He brings the rats with him.
Well, yeah, but I think it's not like out of the question that in the like copy and all the Dracula stuff, they were like bats, more like, well, I guess they're German, so maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, they said bats. No,
rats. That's 9, more like rats.
Everybody go check out Frank Maas, Maas on TikTok. He's an older German man, lovely guy.
Is that the guy that posts about art and stuff?
No, it's the guy who goes, rats analog his back.
He does
the sing along.
That guy.
So willst du mein Duett singen? Ich fang an. 7-foot frame. Rats analog his back.
Yeah, we get back to fucking Nosferatu.
So back to Nosferatu.
Okay.
So meanwhile, Hutter escapes from the castle, but he's like injured and wounded. So he heals up at a monastery, and then he returns to Germany as well.
Drink some health potions.
Where he reunites with his wife Ellen, just as Nosferatu arrives in the city and brings with him the dreadful plague.
Yes.
Oh, Nosferatu's just dragging around his big old coffin around town. It's really great.
Does that happen?
Yeah, there's several shots of him like walking through town, just dragging this big coffin behind him.
It's like 2 minutes. It's so long. He just keeps going. And then what else? Oh, the new guys discover everyone died on board, and they're just like, the plague, and then they announce the plague, and everyone goes, ah.
So what happens next is pretty simple. We're in kind of like the last third of the movie now, and this is the best part in my opinion. It's very apocalyptic. Everyone in the city is dying. There's this one shot where Ellen looks out the window, and there's just coffin upon coffin upon coffin because so many people have died. It's so like bleak and dismal. It's great. It's wonderful.
Harrison loves bleakness.
But yeah, Nosferatu brings the plague. Knock, who is now in insane asylum because he's gone like full Renfield at this point. He escapes, and people blame him for the plague. They think that Knock is the vampire, so Knock is running around. People are chasing Knock. Meanwhile, Nosferatu gets to use him as a scapegoat and keep running around, sucking people's blood and spreading the plague. And,
which is fucking hilarious because he is very much looks like a Nosferatu.
He does. And Hutter is fully aware that Nosferatu is living in that house. He doesn't do anything about it.
Asshole.
Very stupid. And then Ellen finally finds Hutter's book on Nosferatu, and she reads it. And she learns that the only way to stop Nosferatu is for a beautiful virgin woman to offer herself up to him and basically to keep him there until the sun rises. So Ellen decides to sacrifice herself to let Nosferatu suck her blood and keep him there until the sun rises so that he dies in the sunlight. And that is not how the original Dracula book ends, and I think it's a very compelling ending. I think it's a great sort of, I don't know how to describe like why I like it, but it gives a lot of like agency and a lot of power to this character in a point in cinema where women were usually just damsels in distress, where she is the one who does the great heroic sacrifice and defeats Nosferatu, which is pretty cool.
Well, it could only be a dynamite dame, and so she does it, and that's how it goes.
I will say I don't know exactly what the bites do, because Hutter gets bit and it doesn't seem to do too much.
Yeah.
Like,
That is, yeah, you're right. The movie doesn't like explain its mythology very well. If I had to guess, I would say he like only drained Hutter partially, whereas with like his dead victims, he drains them completely. But it is weird. Like, why didn't he drain Hutter completely? You know, it's strange.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's got a little nibble.
The mythology of the film isn't explained very well. It's kind of a plot hole where, like I keep saying, Hutter doesn't do anything about the fact that there's a Nosferatu living across from his house. So there are a few, like, sort of, I guess, plot holes in this movie. But it's an old movie. It's from the silent film era. You know, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And I really like, this is like the last thing I have to note. But Nosferatu like grabbing at her heart, the shadow, like, oh my god, that's such a good shot. That's like a fantastic shot.
That's one of the more expressionist things in this movie, is that there's all these like shots of Nosferatu's long shadow, and it's very cool.
Nosferatu's long shadow.
But yeah, that's Nosferatu.
And today I'm saying yes, Feratu. To Nosferatu.
Today we're saying yes, Feratu. Yes, last time we said Dracula's dead
and loving it.
And this time, how many bats are we going to give this movie?
Are we doing 5 or 10?
It's 10
out of 10 bats.
Before we rank it, Harrison, I want you, when you're adding this episode, bleep out every time we fucking say yes, Ferrado, for the love of God.
Just a little yes Ferratu counter. We get a Sims ding.
Before we rate the movie, does anyone else have any thoughts that they want to get out?
Looks around.
Looks around. Yes, Ferratu.
Looks around. Maybe Ferratu.
Check, please.
It seems that no one has anything to say.
I mean, I think this movie was Nosferatu 1922 inspired, full length, had latex mask, Etsy.
Oh my god.
It's very cool. Very cool movie. Very, very engaging silent film movie. Did we? No, that was on record when we talked about the blue and the orange and how that is very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very dreamlike movie. It is so like, the images are so striking and it's so weird. It's such a weird movie. I feel like we didn't really get into the weirdness too much. All the characters are like very exaggerated and it's weird. It definitely feels like a dream or a nightmare.
It really makes you feel.
But it's very engaging.
I really like the organ music. Like I genuinely really like that.
Yeah, that was good too.
Because it's just fucking never
mine
ending.
Mine didn't have an organ score. Mine had an orchestral score, but it was cool.
Well, the organ score is just like non-stop. Like it's so like nauseating. Very cool though.
Okay, well, let's rate it. I'll go first. Last time I watched it, I gave it a 10 out of 10 bats. This time, I'm not feeling it. I did like it quite a bit. I love this movie. But like I said, I've seen it so many times. I thought it was kind of boring this time. And I feel like a 10 out of 10 bat movie should be more rewatchable than that. I'm going to give this movie 9 out of 10 bats.
Oh. Ooh. 9 Ferratu. I'm only kidding. But...
Nah, but seriously, that's pretty cool.
No, but seriously, somebody else rate this fucking movie.
I would give it personally also a 9 out of 10 bats. I enjoyed it a lot.
So you're saying this is like 10% better than Dracula Dead and Loving It?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot you gave that an 8 out of 10.
Let go of that. Listen, I love that. It was a great movie. Well, this is great.
You love that movie? Like that's what's up there with your favorite movies? Dracula Dead and Loving It?
What's up? Okay, no, I'm not fucking discussing this. I refuse. I like Nosferatu. This is about Nosferatu and Nosferatu only. None of my other opinions will ever be discussed ever again.
Remember, last time we talked about how Dracula was dead and loving it.
But this time,
yeah,
we're saying
we know.
Okay,
this time it's a little Nosferatu and on a big adventure, and you know the rest.
You know the rest.
The only reason I deduct points is that I was confused a lot. It might be just because it's my first silent movie, but sometimes I did not know what the fuck was going on.
No,
Cutter
I can totally
see that. A third of the movie, and I didn't know where he was.
I had a little bit of that too. Like I didn't really know how he was controlling her or like how the bites worked, and I was a little like, oh, okay, I guess we're here now. But
yeah, but the thing is, it was so fun and such a cool movie that I was very much going with the flow of it. If it did some crazy shit, I was like, okay, that's cool. But sometimes it got much. I was like, okay, what is happening?
That's fair, yeah.
9 out of 10.
Yeah. Overall, a bad movie. Movie is too slow and lacks action. The grand finale comes down to the random heroes making a big entrance and holding the gauntlet for a few seconds. Just a shell of Infinity War. Pity.
Is this an in-game review you're reading right now?
I'm gonna give this. I was gonna say 8, but I will join the 9 bandwagon. This was pretty good. There wasn't like enough Iron Man for me, but other than that, it's pretty good.
It's no Black Adam, but
yeah, I wouldn't say any hierarchies of power were changed in this movie.
yeah,
but
I will have to be the outlier here. I'm very sorry. I am giving this 7 bats.
7
Oh
for
my
you.
god!
Well, don't we have to compromise here?
we do have to compromise. Yeah,
All right, let's do 8. I was gonna say 8 anyway.
I'm fine with 8.
I guess, but I don't want to because we had 3 9s and 1 7. I mean, I'd be okay if you want to just stick with 9.
Yeah, let's just outvote Mario.
Yeah, okay, fuck you, 9.
Yeah,
just kind of, never mind. I was gonna make an Among Us
Mario,
joke. I'm sorry.
you're
I'm
off.
sorry.
You're
Just
off
move
the
on.
castle. You're off the
You're
castle.
Among Us.
Yeah.
Among Us.
Now, my last question is: who would win in a battle fight? Nosferatu from Nosferatu or Leslie Nielsen Dracula Dead and Loving It?
We have to rate the Dracula too.
Oh,
and
we
then
have
there's
to do.
one more.
No, we
thing
have to
too.
do.
Of course, there's one more thing.
Okay. So we have to end every episode with 4 things. First of all, we have to rate the movie. We have to rate the Dracula.
We did that.
We have to do the Dracula tournament. Could this Dracula beat the previous Dracula in a fight?
And then we have to do Dracula of the week.
If so, that Dracula is the champion. And each movie we say, could this Dracula beat the current champion?
Okay, good idea.
So,
yes.
Could
God.
Nosferatu beat Leslie Nielsen Dracula in a fight?
I'm gonna say yes.
No, absolutely not. No, Leslie Nielsen bent metal bars with his hands. Nosferatu is a frail, weak, old, bald man.
Yeah, but he has the plague.
No, actually.
Yeah, but Dracula can't catch the plague. He's Dracula. I feel like Leslie Nielsen wins.
At first glance, I would say Nosferatu. He's a big, strong. He's not strong, but he's a big, scary-looking man.
Scary fingers.
Leslie Nielsen's kind of. Silly
Leslie Nielsen Dracula simply has more feats behind him.
Yeah, exactly.
He did bend metal. You're right. Okay.
And Nosferatu, no one tried to punch Nosferatu in the fucking jaw. Okay, I can't figure
That's
out.
true.
What
I
he
feel
was
like
doing
me and my friends would have we would have slammed Nosferatu into the dirt with hammers. I can tell you that.
I can say that much.
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay,
No,
so
yeah,
Leslie
Leslie
Nielsen did jump out of a slow motion jump out of a window.
he can fly and
Yeah.
shit. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you're right, Harrison.
I
They
think
fly
Leslie Nielsen Dracula is the champion. He's the reigning
Okay.
champion. I feel like
He
always-
does have the bat face too. So yeah, he can
And
turn into a little bat.
Now, how many bats do you give Nosferatu? I'm going to give him also 9 bats. As
Yeah,
Dracula.
nine bats. He's a quality Dracula.
He is so scary and, like I said, so bleak and apocalyptic. He's great.
Yeah.
I love him.
I give it 10. Do we? Yeah, 10.
10
10.
bats.
10.
I gotta do a 9 as well, just because of the the other stuff that's bad.
I think my favorite
But I
Dracula
think
is
he's
going to
a
be
very good Dracula.
Count Down.
Oh, I forgot about the other stuff that's bad about him. Maybe we shouldn't
What?
give this Dracula a rating. Maybe he should be disqualified because
That's
of the
that's true.
the certain
Alright, so you're
caricature
more
aspects of his
immortalized.
design.
Okay, I'm gonna say L'Chaim to Nosferatu. I'm sorry, you did your best, kid. Can't be in the running because you're too slightly anti-Semitic.
I don't know about slightly even, but
Yeah, I'm fairly anti-Semitic. He could just be a fucked up dude. Although the mask I sent is really accentuating just like the Jewish rat manness of it.
it's like the J.K. Rowling.
Oh, the goblins.
God,
Well,
I
we got
forget-
two.
the
We got 2 more
goblins.
things to do. We got to do the Dracula of the week, and we got to pick another movie.
Okay, Dracula.
Yeah,
the
well,
Week.
pick another movie first,
Okay.
then Dracula. of the Week. Yeah.
Okay, so we're in a bit of a pickle here. We haven't even thought about what our next movie is going
Let's
to
do
be.
Blackula. Let's do Blackula.
Uh-huh.
I've never seen it.
Do you want to do Blackula? Okay.
Is it?
Why not?
You said it's good, right?
I was gonna say the original 1931 Dracula, am I right?
Yeah, it is called
You want to go
Dracula.
old?
Yes.
You wanna go
Well,
old,
I knew
old?
it was called Dracula. I don't know the year. I think 1931.
I think we
I'm
should try and
pretty sure it is.
alternate between not relatively new and old.
Well, my thing isn't age. My thing is that
Quality.
there's police outside. No, my thing is that we just
Yeah,
watched
going for
we just watched 2 very straightforward Dracula adaptations in a row. Do we want to watch another straightforward Dracula adaptation, or are we going to get bored of it?
I think Blackula.
we could
would be
do.
fun.
We could do one silly, one like genuinely good.
We could do another bad one. Let me check my list.
We could
and
do
look at the bad ones.
Can we dump an Indian one in there? Oh no, can we do the Chinese jumping vampires? Does that count?
We could do
that's
Dracula
not...
2012, 2013.
No, the Chinese jumping vampires aren't Dracula. They're very good. I love jumping vampire movies, but those aren't Dracula.
Let's do Dracula Untold.
I'm pulling on my list. Dracula.
Let's do Untold. Let's do Untold. Come on, we did the oldest Dracula. Let's do. Well, actually, what is the newest Dracula movie? That's a thought.
It might be Dracula Untold.
No. There was one we watched recently that had. Oh, fucking hell! It's the Munsters.
We're not doing the Munsters. That movie is so terrible.
We just need to decide on what. Can we just do Blackula? Let's just do Blackula.
Okay, I love Blackula. So that's
Fuck
fine.
it, whatever.
Okay, Blackula. And who's doing the Dracula of the week this week?
It's you.
Is it me?
It is you. Yes.
Yeah. What's your Dracula of the week?
My Dracula of the week this week is
Don't fucking disappoint us.
Is almost just about to shit you, which has been me all episode.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so we got Big Steamy Batula and then almost just about to shit you. That's
the current champion is Leslie Nielsen Dracula.
Are you writing this down somewhere?
Yeah, everyone write this down somewhere. If you guys have the opportunity to watch Blackula, I know you can buy it on YouTube. I don't know if it's free anywhere.
Get it, go illegal, dude. Go on fucking yes movies.
Personally, I say yes Nosferatu to pirating. So, if you have to pirate or whatever.
I also say, yeah. Oh, this has got to become recurring. We gotta keep doing this.
If we ever, if I ever hear the phrase yes Nosferatu after this fucking episode, I will fucking lose my mind.
I say yes Nosferatu to pirating as well. Do it. Fuck them. It's an old movie.
But yeah, you can buy it on YouTube. I don't know if it's free anywhere, but yeah. You have 2 weeks to watch Blackula, and okay.
Godspeed
goodbye.
you, Blackula Emperor.
Have fun at the ball tonight.
What?
This week, we say...
Bye-bye.
Bye-ula.
Next week, we say hello to Blackula.
Yes!
All right, the episode's over. We can stop now.